trusted news source, ABC6 News at noon.
Hey, good afternoon to you folks. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Casey Cantz. Doreen is off. Let's begin this afternoon with a check of that forecast. Live look outside right now. All sorts of elements today. But look at that. You got some sun out there this afternoon, and certainly was not the case this morning. But at this lunch hour, Chelsea, we're talking about the high winds. You can actually hear the wind outside whistling in our downtown studios here just a little bit ago. But the sun shines out today. How about that?
I know, after such a crazy start to the day where we had slush, we had rain, we had snow. We talked about it during Good Morning Providence. If you were up early, maybe it's the holiday for you. But the worst conditions of the day happened in the early morning hours. From there, things have been slowly winding down. It is still going to stay pretty windy through the rest of the day, and eventually these mild temperatures are going to be dropping. Right now, we're in the mid to upper 40s, a huge warm up from the really cold temperatures we had yesterday. In fact, looking at the 24-hour temperature change just from yesterday afternoon, we're running about 20 to 25 degrees warmer at the moment. It is still very breezy. You're looking at wind gusts nowhere near where they were in the early morning hours, but it is still a gusty afternoon. That wind now coming in from the southwest as that system continues to pull away from us. Early this morning, we had a very strong easterly wind, some gusts coming in over 60 miles per hour very early this morning. At this point, we're going to stay mainly in the 25 to 35 mile per hour range. The heaviest of rain has come to an end, but we will still see some scattered showers at times. So at times you'll get some sun popping through those clouds. At times you get some scattered showers. A little bit of a wider view just shows you the magnitude, how large this system is as it continues to move north and northeast. Some snow on the backside of the system, not out of the question that we get a few little flurries mixing in, but overall it's a breezy and chilly night ahead of us with feel-like temperatures even cooler than the actual temps. I'll have much more in the week ahead in just a few minutes. Casey?
Thanks, Chelsea. We'll check back in. Quick update today on those power outages from this morning. The power has been largely restored in all of Rhode Island and Bristol County today. At the peak of those outages, though, this morning, National Grid reported over 7,500 customers without power in Bristol County. Rehoboth, they faced the most outages this morning, peaking with just over 2,000. But again, pretty much everything back up and running at this hour. The same can't be said for everybody, though, as a massive winter storm barrels up the East Coast. More than 100,000 people are without power, and thousands of flights have been canceled. Here's ABC's Rena Roy with more.
A major winter storm barreling up the East Coast, now moving into New England. The severe weather alerts affecting areas from Florida to Maine. ABC's Trevor Alt tracking record snowfall in Buffalo, New York.
Overnight, we got 4 inches of snow an hour at some points. The airport's got a foot of snow, and here downtown, you can see it's still coming down heavily.
The Southeast also hit hard with snow and ice. At Brevard College in North Carolina, students rushed to safety, a dorm roof collapsing under the weight of snow.
Some of my friends were across campus and they thought it was a car crash.
The storm turning deadly in that state. 2 people killed in Nash County when their car slid off I-95. In Durham, this tractor trailer left hanging over a highway overpass. Chopper footage shows multiple car wrecks all over major highways. Other drivers seen sliding on the road. On Sunday in Virginia alone, authorities responding to nearly 500 car crashes and the same number of disabled vehicles. Drivers left stranded in the wintry mess, some pushing their cars out of the snow. The same system causing an EF2 tornado in South Florida. 28 homes destroyed, dozens more damaged.
And more than 1,000 flights have been grounded nationwide today. Charlotte Douglas International Airport is dealing with the most cancellations in the world. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Wow, cancellations of a different type on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The coronavirus, again, forcing plans to honor Dr. King in the Ocean State to be canceled. State Rep Raymond Hall, who chairs the State Holiday Commission for MLK Day, said the surge in cases is to blame. Hall said he asked that Rhode Islanders continue today and every day moving forward to believe in Dr. King's dream of a better world as we face today's challenges. Here's Hall talking about Dr. King back in 2020. That was the last time the in-person event was held.
He changed the world, actually. He changed the way we do things in the country, where blacks and whites could actually come together and actually enjoy each other, you know, love each other. That's what changed, and we're going to continue this journey tomorrow and the next day, because if we stop and just use it as one day, we've lost the whole message of the late Dr. Martin Luther King.
The ceremony in Woonsocket scheduled to honor Dr. King has also been canceled. The Woonsocket MLK Community Committee says it'll reschedule a planned scholarship banquet in the spring. Boston getting its first taste of Mayor Michelle Wu's new Be Together vaccine mandate this weekend. Restaurants there checking vaccine cards before seating patrons, and it wasn't all smooth sailing, with one restaurant saying it turned away 20 guests in 25 minutes because they didn't have a vaccine card. Others said it'll take some time getting used to for patrons who come into the city to visit, say for conventions, because they simply aren't aware of the mandate.
We have a lot of guests that they're not from Boston, so it's hard for them to get used to Boston laws.
We all had our cards, yep. It's okay, but I'm playing by the rules.
Actually, it makes me feel safer knowing that they are checking, so we come here, we feel a little more confident.
It's really upsetting for people, and people think it's segregating. As a restaurateur, we don't have choices. We don't have a choice in this area.
And the mayor's vaccine mandate requires proof of at least one shot to dine indoors or go to a gym or other indoor entertainment in the city right now. That changes, though, to 2 shots on February 15th, unless you get the 1-shot J&J. Also want to let you know that some COVID-19 testing sites closed today because of the holiday. Testing at the former Fire Station 11 in New Bedford closed for the holiday, but testing is open and available at the New Bedford Airport site. That until 4 o'clock today. In Rhode Island, the McCoy Stadium test site is closed today. RIPTA running a Sunday holiday schedule today in observance of Martin Luther King Day. No flex services except Route 203, which runs between URI, Narragansett, and South Kingstown. RIPTA offices are closed today as well. Regular services resume again tomorrow. Other headlines today: the investigation continues into Providence's first homicide of the year. It happened early Sunday morning around 3 a.m. Providence police say one person was killed, another injured after a shooting at the intersection of Potters and Elmwood Avenues. Police telling ABC6 they think the shooting was targeted. Police have not said if they have any suspects in this case. The second shooting victim is expected to survive. Both victims, we understand, are from Massachusetts. Elsewhere in the city, one man is dead after a Sunday morning apartment fire. Firefighters found the man inside a second-floor apartment in Hillcrest Village Apartments on Leander Street. This was around 1 o'clock. Firefighters found the man in the kitchen with heavy smoke showing. They brought the man outside to do CPR. Paramedics then took the man to Rhode Island Hospital, where he died. The cause of that fire is still under investigation today. Still to come today at noon, tensions continue to escalate between the U.S. and Russia after months of Russian military buildup along the Ukraine border. I'm going to tell you where things stand today. Plus, President Biden scheduled for a virtual meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister later this week, what the two leaders will be discussing. And later, a wild NFL wild card weekend. A lot of wildness. We're not done yet either. One more game tonight. We're going to check in on Tom Brady and the Bucs to see if they're moving on. All that and more coming up. Stay with us. We are back today with national and international headlines today. Tensions building between the United States and Russia over the Kremlin amassing 100,000 troops.
Tension between Russia and Ukraine remains high as newly released video shows Ukrainian troops training on their eastern border. Fears of a Russian invasion of Ukraine have been building for months, with more than 100,000 Russian troops and military hardware massed at the Ukrainian border. This unverified social media video, examined by independent researchers, appears to show Russia moving even more troops and heavy equipment west. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Ukraine.
I think the gulf between the two sides seems dangerously wide. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan saying the next steps are likely early this week.
Today, a bipartisan group of U.S. senators are traveling to Ukraine to meet with President Zelensky in order to reaffirm the U.S.'s commitment to his country. And yet, even more escalation. Over the weekend, Ukraine claiming the Kremlin is behind a cyber attack that shut down and defaced several of its government websites, saying Russia is engaging in a hybrid war. But that's not all. The Pentagon declassifying classified information that alleges Russian operatives are already on the ground in eastern Ukraine, plotting a false flag operation that could provide a justification for a potential invasion of Ukraine.
This is straight out of the Russian playbook. This is what they did in Ukraine in 2014. They've done it in other contexts, and so it comes as no surprise that they would be planning for the possibility of creating a pretext.
There are no Russian troops on Donbas and on Ukrainian soil.
Russia rejects that claim, but a Kremlin spokesman has declined to rule out Russia deploying missiles or troops in Cuba and Venezuela, saying Moscow is thinking how to ensure its own security. For over a week, Russia has been engaging in talks with the U.S., demanding that Ukraine not be admitted into NATO, as well as a pullback of NATO troops in Eastern Europe. The United States calling those demands a non-starter. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
And while that's going on, President Joe Biden is scheduled to meet virtually this week with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. This will be on Friday. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki confirming the news, saying the two leaders will discuss their visions for a free and open Indo-Pacific. They're also expected to talk about working together in the fight against COVID-19. Psaki says this meeting will, quote, highlight the strength of the U.S.-Japan alliance, which is the cornerstone of peace, security, and stability worldwide, end quote. Still to come today, the parent company of Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream looking to expand into healthcare. What products they're looking to add to the line. And the crazy ending in the Big D. Why it ended with fans throwing trash on the field yesterday. We're going to show you all that coming up. Welcome back. Some consumer news this afternoon. The owners of Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream, they are eyeing an expansion. The company that makes Tums, Advil, and Aquafresh toothpaste say that Ben & Jerry's parent company, Unilever, has made several proposals to buy its product line. However, GSK rejected the offers, saying they're too low. Unilever execs say the company is putting together a new buyout strategy to expand its healthcare products line. Details on that are expected to be announced by the end of the month.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
I wasn't sure where that story was going at first. I'm like, Ben & Jerry's flavored Tums? No. A little weird. We have a weird weather day. We started the day, if you were up very early this morning, we had snow out there and we had very, very gusty winds moving in over the course of the morning. Block Island, a 63-mile-per-hour wind gust, westerly 58 miles per hour, Charlestown 55, Beavertail 57, and then out in Wellfleet, West Dennis, over 65 miles per hour for wind gusts earlier this morning. Like I said, we also had some snow. Most spots between coating along the coastline, Providence even only at about half an inch, up to about 2.5 inches on the high end in Foster. That happened in the very, very early morning hours. And then from there, rain started to move in. Many spots picking up over an inch of rain outside early this morning. And really, we still have some scattered showers continuing into the afternoon. So these totals may end up a little bit higher when all is said and done. But we had the rain on top of the snow, and it was just a slushy mess outside. Now, the good news is we're drying out, and the temperatures are very mild as we speak. We do still have some scattered showers in the forecast today, but again, much, much better than what we were seeing early this morning when it was just a wide swath of those yellows and oranges of just torrential rain coming through the area. Temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. It is very mild right now. So anything that was out there in terms of any snowfall, accumulating snow, a lot of that's melting, especially with the heavy rain that came down on top of it. And it is still very breezy, so things are going to dry out, but temperatures are also going to drop. So overnight, I do want you to be careful for some icy spots. I don't think it's a widespread concern, but anything that's left standing will likely freeze overnight. But again, the breeze is going to help us dry out. We're still seeing winds sustain 10 to 25 miles per hour, gusts in the 25 to 35 mile per hour range, still 43 mile per hour wind gusts for Block Island. So we're still windy this afternoon as this system continues to pull away from us. A loop over the past 6 hours shows you all of that heavy rain that came through in the early morning hours. Now as the system continues to pull away, continue to spin around, we get some scattered showers at times. This evening, as cooler temperatures settle in, there may be a few isolated lighter snow showers, but all in all, what we are doing is gradually drying out as that low continues to pull away. This is 8 o'clock. This is what I'm talking about. A few little isolated snow flurries possible. By early tomorrow morning, though, we are dry. We are clear. We'll see mainly sunny conditions tomorrow with temperatures that top out in the low 30s range. It'll be a cooler day, and it's still breezy out there. Overnight into Wednesday will be a chilly start to the day, but by noontime, a warm front comes through, and we'll be back into the 40s by Wednesday afternoon before our next little cold front comes through, bringing some light showers or snow showers early Thursday morning. We're in the upper 40s right now. The temperatures are going to be dropping by the later afternoon and into the evening, eventually down into the 20s overnight, so watch for some icy spots. Again, it is breezy. That typically helps things dry out even more, but it's an isolated concern. We're windy and chilly tomorrow with temperatures in the low 30s, still seeing some gusts around 30 miles per hour. 7-day forecast is going to show you temperatures back into the 40s on Wednesday after a cold start. A little bit of some light rain or light snow early Thursday morning, then really cold again Friday. Casey?
All right, Chels, thanks for that. Well, what a wild NFL wild card weekend it was in the NFL. Unfortunately, the Patriots will not be moving on. They were bounced in Buffalo Saturday night. But that meant a lot of Pats fans turned their energy towards rooting for old friend TB12 Tom Brady and the Bucs, engineering a rout of the Eagles yesterday in Tampa. Another former Patriot tight end, Rob Gronkowski, 5 catches for 31 yards and a touchdown. Brady was just dialed in. He completed 29 of 37 passes, 271 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bucs got out to a 31-0 lead, and they took down the Eagles 31-15. They'll take on the winner of tonight's Cardinals-Rams game. Another former Patriot quarterback getting a playoff win Sunday, that being Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. They are moving after a head-scratching final play in Dallas. You see this? Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. Well, this is the aftermath of it, at least, when Dak tried to down the ball, but the time ran out. There was a scramble before this with only 15 seconds on the clock. No timeouts for the Cowboys. The umpire ran into Prescott and the offensive line trying to spot the ball, as you saw right there. Didn't work. Clock showed triple zeros. Cowboys fans, then threw trash on the field as the referees exited the tunnel after the game. Another Cowboys season with high hopes ends abruptly. Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners headed to Green Bay now for the divisional round. The two other scores this weekend. Last night, the Chiefs took care of the Steelers 42-21 in what was likely Big Ben's last game in the black and gold. And that sets up a Chiefs-Bills matchup next week. That should be a doozy. And Saturday in Cincy, the Bengals beat the Raiders 26-19, so they'll travel to the top seed in the AFC, Tennessee, to take on the Titans next week. Up next, check out these amazing 4th and 5th grade students. We're going to show you how they are honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with inspiring speeches. Stay close. Welcome back. Wanted to show you this today. Some amazing 4th and 5th graders competing in the annual Foley and Lardner Martin Luther King Jr. Oratory Competition. Here's some highlights from Dallas.
The question was asked, how Dr. King assessed our progress in achieving his vision for America.
The heart of the people is the heartbeat of the country.
I feel like we're taking baby steps towards success while we should be taking giant leaps.
Racism is one of the biggest problems in the world right now, and it really shouldn't be, because there's only one race, the human race.
Dr. King envisioned a world of love, not hate, and he constantly tells us not to go backwards, but forward. Dr. King wanted all people to enjoy the benefits of equality. His vision isn't too difficult to achieve. Do you agree?
He fought for equality for all, and he fought for justice.
He stood for kindness, respect, and helping other people to learn not to be disrespectful.
He makes me think that if someone else is getting treated wrong or bullied, I could stand up for them.
Although I believe that we haven't yet achieved Dr. King's vision, I do believe that the vision is not lost.
In the future, I believe we can accomplish Dr. King's dream, my dream, our dream.
So my brothers and sisters, I ask each of you, at the sound of my voice, let's come together, use our power, and work to make Dr. King's dream a reality for today, tomorrow, and forever.
If one man can make such an impact on this world, imagine if we are all open to change. It starts with us. It starts today.
Boy, some special kids on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day. When we come back, remembering Betty White on what would have been her 100th birthday. Stay with us. Well, we close with this today. The amazing Betty White would have been 100 years old today. Her passion, what she loved most in the world, was animals. Fans asking everyone to donate to an animal rescue or charity today in Betty's honor. Chelsea, animals near and dear to our hearts as well. Huh?
Yeah, our friends at the RISPCA made a post about that. So if you're thinking of doing it, of course, we have our friends over at the RISPCA. They'll be in tomorrow for Pick of the Litter. Today, we are seeing some slow improvements. It is still quite breezy outside, and it'll stay breezy overnight and into tomorrow, too. But we'll be brighter and brighter with temperatures in the low 30s tomorrow, back into the 40s on Wednesday. Casey?
Thank you, Chelsea. Appreciate it. Thank you, folks, for joining us today as well for ABC6 News at noon. The news continues first at 4, and for news and weather anytime, ABC6.com is always on. Have a great rest of your afternoon.